Hi, exploring whiskey people.
Before we get to today's review, we want to let everyone know that September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month.
My son Jason was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, a form of bone cancer, at the age of 7 and passed away a little over a year later, actually in the month of September.
So this month we are going to be supporting the St. Jude charity campaign in Jason's honor. Back in July, we did a charity campaign for sarcoma and we were able to raise $100. Our goal with this campaign is to raise $500. If you have the means, we'd appreciate your support in this campaign.
Everyone knows that St. Jude doesn't charge families for treatments, but did you know that they actually have on-staff teachers to help each child not fall behind as they're getting treatments?
Childhood cancer is the #1 disease killer of children in the United States. 1 in 264 children will develop a form of cancer before the age of 20.
We really appreciate any support you could give to this great cause.
Now, on to our whiskey review.
Cheers.
Welcome back, everyone. Again, I'm Eric.
And I'm Kevin, and this is Exploring Whiskey, where we sample whiskeys from around the world.
We are going to venture away from Buffalo Trace in this episode and dip our toes in the Angel's Envy bourbon.
This is a bourbon whiskey because it is finished. There's a lot of rules when you come to whiskey, federally regulated all over the place. But to be a bourbon, to say that you're a bourbon, you can only be in new oak barrels. Angel's Envy is finished in a port barrel. So they can't call themselves bourbon, they have to call themselves bourbon whiskey. This review is spurred by a comment we got on one of our very first videos from Scott, who asked what our thoughts were about Angel's Envy. So here's our thoughts. Overall, it's a very interesting concept. They take bourbon sourced, rumor, Brown's Foreman, that's the rumor. But they take that sourced bourbon, they sit it in a ruby port barrel for 3 to 6 months. So it's going to pick up a little bit of that note, that more of a fruity note that you should get from there. Overall, they don't say it, I don't think it's written on here, but it's usually around a 6-year-old in the bourbon barrels. 86.6 proof. Could not find a special reason why they did 86.6 proof, but more power to them.
Let's give it a taste.
I haven't had Angel's Envy in a long number of years.
I've had the rye that was in a rum cask. It was different, but we'll get to that on another episode.
It's light.
Yeah.
I was expecting a little bit more
Punch.
to come through on the nose. It doesn't have a lot of those super sugary notes that you get normally from bourbons. A little bit darker.
I get a peanut note off the nose though. Took a little while.
Not overly oily or anything like that, but a little bit goldish.
But sometimes I've learned that you gotta take a sip and then come back to the nose, and you pick up a little.
You'll pick that up.
Different notes.
Yep.
But I get a peanut.
Very subtle.
I get the peanut off the taste too.
Oh yeah.
It's strong.
That's a very strong peanut flavor. Very, very strong. That dusty nut type note.
That's overpowering.
That's about it. I was expecting more of a ripe fruit from the port.
Yeah, with the port, you'd think you'd pick up some of that grape or something sweeter. But I get peanut to the nose, I get peanut to the taste.
All right, second taste, I get a little bit more of a fruit. It's not strong, but it's there.
Aerate it.
Okay.
When I aerated it,
Yeah.
It's very sweet
Okay.
and kind of stuck to the front of the tongue, but as it lingered, went straight back to the peanut. Ooh, peanut butter and jelly. That's sweetness.
You got it?
Yeah. That's sweetness in the beginning. And then the nut kind of lingers. The peanut lingers. Yeah.
You do get that. That's funny. How strong that jam is. I don't know if jelly, but jam. Yeah, there's a real strong fruit note as soon as you aerate it.
Yes.
It's not on that initial taste though. That's kind of interesting. And you still have the nut note and things like that, peanuts. Interesting. That's kind of a fun little. That's something you can play with there.
It is definitely not a mixer. It is a
No.
you got to drink it by itself.
Yeah. I would not try to add something else to that. I think they've added enough to it.
Well, for me, I wouldn't mix it. I'm sure there's some bartenders out there that could find something to mix it with, but no, I think it's not bad by itself. It's interesting that nut, more of a nutty flavor. At tail end, you kind of get some sweetness, but yeah, neat on this one too.
So this is going to be, like I said, so we got 86.6 proof coming in. They do share a little bit about the mash bill itself. So it is very corn. It's 72% corn.
Okay.
So it is extreme corn build. 18% rye, 10% malted barley. It's not going to get the sweetness necessarily from a wheat or any of that kind of stuff, but it doesn't have. I don't have any rye, spice, licorice, tea notes in there.
Sometimes a heavy corn gets a sweetness too, though.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But no, it was interesting. But I was very, very surprised on the heavy peanut on this one.
I don't know. I wonder. Every once in a while, especially a finished bourbon, but I think there's other things that I think the same way. I'd love to see this. What did it taste like before it went into that port barrel? What did it taste like at 3 months? What did it taste like at 6 months? What did it taste like as a year? I think there's people that get paid lots of money to do that, and
hopefully Angel's Envy will see this video. And we get invited up.
There you go. I'm your man. I'm all over this. Let's do this.
I'll drive.
There you go. Yeah, I really would be interested to see if it was in there for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Because it's such a light impact. Like it still tastes very, very bourbony. It feels like the port had such a light impact on this.
Yeah. It's still a good pour. I'm interested for you to try the other Angel's Envy that I've tried though.
The rye?
The rye on the rum cask. Kevin again is not a huge rye person, but throw it on the rum. It's interesting. So we'll have to hunt that bottle back down. It'll be one of our next episodes maybe. See what we can find. We're always hunting. Again, we're always open to
suggestions,
recommendations,
comments.
Yeah,
we've got an Instagram page that as we do our hunts and find some new bottles to add to the collection for the next show. You'll see those kind of float into the Instagram page now.
We had a good tasting over the weekend.
We had a great tasting
bottles
over the weekend, and we did a really good hunt over the weekend.
We did. But that tasting, there were some good ones, and there was a couple...
they were rough. There was a few rough ones, yes.
The old Charter and the Benchmark were better than some of those.
Yes, definitely. Well, the Benchmark, definitely.
Yeah. So...
That's such a light nose. There's not a lot to that nose. It's
more on the taste.
Yeah, on the flavor,
the taste and the finish.
You do start to feel. You get that port. The peanut is all the way through. There's no question about that.
That
It's-
peanut, and then you get, if you can hold on to it, you get that sweetness from the port. It's like a peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah,
finish.
it just, I don't know. It's like not blended well, which makes no sense. Though I do know they do, as I was researching, they really only blend like 8 to 12 barrels at a time.
Okay.
So they really are focused for a very specific nose, note, taste, palate, all that kind of stuff. They're looking for something very specific when they bottle these. But
Be interested to talk to the master distiller on this one.
yeah, what were they going for? What were the notes they were going for? It's
Hopefully peanut.
yeah, I agree. Hopefully peanut, and then the port adds a little bit of a jelly jam
Yeah.
type